what led you to seeking sobriety?
People would feel bad for me at how bad it was, but I feel like that gave me way more willingness to get sober. 7 arrests, 7 detoxes. You're 28 living at mommy and daddy's house. You have holes in your shoes.
Did you come from like a normal background, like what most would say is normal upbringing?
Attack your mind with honesty and ask for help. If you think about how crazy it is, even myself, for 10 years, I wouldn't ask for help. And it was evident. You know what I mean? Evident that I needed help.
Jonathan Mendonca is a powerful voice for resilience and change. For nearly a decade, he found it hard to ask for help. Today, Jon speaks openly about breaking that cycle, dismantling the stigma around mental health, and reminding us that asking for support is as natural as asking someone to help lift a heavy couch. With honesty, humility, and hope, Jon inspires others to take life one day at a time and embrace the courage it takes to reach out.
What maybe finally clicked for you? Do you know?
I love you, I don't hate you, but the reason I don't talk to you is because I just can't live my life wondering like every night when you're gonna die or how you're gonna die.
No one thing that gets you sober, but it is so vital that you have community. Hello, all, and welcome to Wake Up with Marci, the show where we have real conversations, invite radical healing, and help you wake up to your worth. I'm your host, Marci Hopkins, and I am so grateful you are here and have joined us. Thank you so much. I'm super excited about today's guest, and he is someone I deeply admire for the work that he does, the powerful advocacy and commitment to helping others find freedom through sobriety. And that is Recovery Jon, also known as Jon Mendonca. He is a content creator, author, and sobriety advocate who's been sober for almost 6 years. Congratulations. His viral TikTok videos have racked up over 50 million views a year, bringing truth, humor, and compassion to the realities of addiction and recovery. He's also the host of the Addict's Truth podcast, and author of a new book that's helping thousands reclaim their lives from substance use. Jon, welcome to Wake Up with Marci. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's good to see you again.
Yes. So I was so excited that I got to be on your show and connected, and now to have you on mine is really awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you. I'm excited. I'm working on it now. I can't wait to publish it. I've been holding back, so I'm excited to
Yay.
get it out there. Can't wait.
Well, it's coming soon. Coming soon.
Yep.
So 6 years of recovery, and you're pretty young right now, right? How old are you
Yep.
right now?
35.
35. So you were 29 when you got sober?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like for you? Like what led you to seeking sobriety?
So I always say that something I've learned is, in my perspective, is I had it the easier but harder way. So I had way more failures than most. Like I was like your hardcore. We spoke about this a little bit with your story,
Mhm.
how people would feel bad for me at how bad it was, but I feel like that gave me way more willingness to get sober. 7 arrests, 7 detoxes. You're 28 living at mommy and daddy's house. You have holes in your shoes. Like it's kind of obvious. Like okay, you probably shouldn't be this. This is ruining your life. Or rest in peace, my brother who took his own life and other friends. That were like a little more like
Mhm.
functioning. As I hate that word, but they would call it. Um, you know, they were like, why do I need to get sober? I pay my rent. I have nice clothes. I have a nice car,
Yeah.
but I'm abusing alcohol and drugs. So for me,
Mhm.
I also had kind of like 2 sobrieties, addictions I had to beat. So it was opiates at first, heroin, Oxycontin, everything, and add a little, crack and other drugs in there. A lot of hardcore drugs. That was when I got sober first at 28, so like almost 8 years ago. It was hard. I tried for years, like I said, different rehabs, tested AA and other stuff, but it just was easier because like all my friends are dying. Like you need to get, there's no question you need to get sober. So I got sober from that, and then the second one was alcohol. So I stayed sober for 7 months completely, and I was like, well, I never really drank,
Yeah.
probably should,
Yeah.
because I was doing heroin all the time. But I was like,
Maybe I
look at
could
my
do
friends.
that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got fit, I got muscle, I got weight on, I got healthy, I got fully sober for 7 months. I was like, I could probably drink, and then I battled that for a year and a half. And that was harder because, like you say, being younger, single, like I was like projecting a lot. How do I go to a wedding at my wedding one day and never drink? How do I
Yeah.
go find a girl and not drink?
Mhm.
So that was tough, but thankfully I kind of already learned the honesty and willingness from beating the first two addictions, that it was kind
Right.
of 1 + 1 is 2. When you drink, this
Yeah.
happens. You can't do it anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
I got plugged in and thankfully found people to support and found sobriety from
Let
that
me
too.
ask you, you said you started with opiates, and I'm just curious, did you get hurt and like you started on pain medication? Like what started for you? Well, how did it start?
So actually, me and my friend that were both pretty big athletes both got hurt at the same time. He broke his hip, and I like fractured, sprained my ankle in football, and they gave him painkillers. At the time, I was already abusing alcohol and weed. I was dealing with traumas I went through, PTSD and anxiety from that, and ADHD,
Mm.
self-medicating, and it was an opiate epidemic of 2008 was when I graduated. So everyone was selling these things for a ton. I felt like my career was always going to be like a New York Yankee, and I wanted to support my whole family financially. And I felt a burden of that kind of as a young age. And I didn't have to. I don't know why I put that on myself. So found myself actually, we were selling those pills before we did it, because of the money was, I
Wow.
mean,
Yeah.
insurmountable amount of money as a kid. So really quickly we tried it, and then it just went off from there because you're around it enough. People are like, do something, it feels really good. And
Yeah.
right away it quieted the noise, it quieted the anxiety and
Yeah.
PTSD I was having. It helped, it made me focus better. That was one thing. I would still take it if it didn't ruin my life. Like
Wow.
it really calmed me down. I honed in. But you ruin your whole life at the same time. So it
And is
wasn't
that
good.
what led to the other drugs? Like it got too expensive kind of thing? And I mean, that's what I
Absolutely.
hear anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
like
seems to
pills
be
could
the
go
story.
anywhere from like up to $80 a pill, and then you tell yourself, "I'll never." I mean, I told myself I'd never do drugs or drink, and I found myself there, and I said, "I'll
Right.
never do heroin." And then
Yeah.
you hit the wall where it's like you have a $400 a day
You're
habit as a
desperate.
kid. So people are like,
Mhm.
"Oh, for $20, you can get more than that. What you get for 400." So finally, one day you try it, and there you are.
Right. And
Uh,
did you come from, like, a normal background, like what most would say is normal upbringing?
yeah, I mean, I say I came from the American dream. My parents, I had two parents in my life. We grew up in church in TCD. My brother. We had a big family. My parents, I've never seen them drunk until I was like 23. I saw them tipsy for the first time. They made it a point because their parents were alcoholics. They didn't want us to go through that. We weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we had everything we needed.
Yeah.
But I did have early traumas. Like when I was 12, like we were playing paintball. My friend's dad had a massive heart attack and died in my arms in front of me. And there's more that happened, but that was like from that day on, I never prayed. I started to have horrible anger before drugs. And
Mm.
just doing a lot of therapy and self-work after looking back, you could see where, was it PTSD, whatever kicked in there, loss of faith, you know what I mean? I just gave up on the world at that point. I went from like the nicest kid to a scary kid.
Well, let me I wanna touch on this because I had someone else on the show, and she was just talking with me about her use started after her great-grandmother died in her home and how traumatic and devastating that was. So, what I'm hearing here, and I don't know that we're addressing this in the right way, is that death and grief are overtaking young people. But a lot of times, I don't, grown ups, right? Adults don't understand how it can truly affect a young person. And maybe there needs to be more of a conversation around that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know my parents did their best, but I remember them years later saying we just didn't know what to do. Like we never been through something like that. So we didn't even know what to do with you. We tried to get you to a therapist. As a kid, I said no, being a guy, I was like, no, I don't need it. I'm good.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and some people, it could be
It's like,
sexual abuse, some people, it's their parents. I'm dealing with a kid now. I mean, you'd say a perfect life, but his parents got divorced, and you could tell he just lost after that. It's some kind of, for me, I don't push certain things, but I could see where I lost God and just faith in life. Like things are gonna, life happens. Things are gonna be. I came to why. That was my problem. Like why
mhm,
me? Why
mhm.
him? what's going to happen next that's
Right.
bad. And I self-medicated through that.
Mm. It's really interesting. I mean, I think that's something we need to think about. Like, so, there are things that happen in our childhood or for our children, and we don't understand how it's truly affecting our children. And a lot of times we think kids are just resilient, right? They'll get through it. And I don't think death is addressed enough for young people. And I think it can be absolutely devastating. Like you said, loss of faith, so much fear around it, right? And then probably also a lot of, I even know my daughter like had a lot of fear about losing me, right? So you don't even know how death is going to affect a young person. So once you started recovery, and you said you tried multiple times?
Yeah, I've been to rehab 7 times. I tried for 5 straight years, just relapsing, going to different programs, meetings, everything.
Yeah. So what maybe finally clicked for you? Do you know?
I think there's multiple things, kind of like they say there's different stages of grief. I feel like,
Yeah.
I became a little open-minded. Like stuff got so bad, I was like, all right, at some point it's gonna have to change. That was like the first maybe at some point. My last arrest definitely did it. I mean, I had warrants in Connecticut and New York, um, and I got arrested again with more stuff on me and more criminal charges, and found out I was facing like a minimum of 4 years, and that was kind of like an eye opener. I was just sitting in the jail cell at 4 a.m., like coked out and drunk. And I finally just looked around. It was like God kind of punched me in the stomach. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you always your whole life felt in your heart like you'd be looking around Yankee Stadium one day and you're looking around a Brewster, New York jail cell 5 in the morning and calling your parents at 28 years old. Like it was just a realization.
Yeah.
And then that took me to the idea of maybe I should get the detox and rehab. Obviously, I can't do it on my own. I've been trying for 10 years. And the day before I left, my brother probably said something to me that saved my life. He looked at me and he just said, he was very distant for years, obviously. And he's like, I just need you to know, I love you. I don't hate you. But the reason I don't talk to you is because I just can't live my life wondering like every night when you're going to die or how you're going to die.
Yeah.
And as addicts, we could, most addicts I speak to, you're so tunnel vision. Family says like, why don't you care about us? Why don't you think about us? But my thing was my next drug, don't get crazy dope sick. How do I get money for it? Like, everyone always said, John, you're the biggest heart before and after sobriety. But during, like, you're so tunnel vision. Like, I didn't realize, like, my parents have probably lost years off their life from my addiction. My brother killed
Oh yeah.
himself after my addiction.
Yeah.
So that was just
Mm.
said so perfectly to me with, like, love that
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I walked away from that conversation. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this shit's got to stop. And,
Yeah.
no, then I did work and stuff, but that was like that conversation set me off for
Hmm.
sure. Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, what was the one thing, right? And everyone's story is very different, but I will say that one thing that is congruent is that we all know that we shouldn't be doing what we're doing, or we would like help, but not help enough, or maybe we're blaming everyone else, right? But weaved in there, even though we want to have fun and we want to continue, is the idea of, wow, I need to do something about this. Is this really normal what I'm doing? And like for me, it was drinking. And if you disagree, please, say. So I love that you're so open about your story, the shame that's around it, your relapse, and the mental toll that addiction can take. Why do you think that these conversations are so important?
For me, it's just stigma. I mean, I remember you said it perfectly on my podcast. I don't know if I could articulate it the same, but it's just my friends, it started my whole Recovery Jon and what I do today and outreach during COVID. I dealt with death of friends and overdoses, but within 1 week, like 3 closer friends died all from overdose. I think one was like possible
Mm,
suicide. And it just broke something in me. It was like God was just
yeah.
like, this is your story, tell it, because I know none of them wanted to get help or go to rehab. They all kind of like, I don't want to say half-assed it, but you know what I mean? Like I get it, They like tried to do it at home medicated or tried to do that. And wouldn't do rehab or AA or NA or something. Like there's everything they wanted to hide. And I'm like, I'm no better
Yeah.
than them. What was the difference? And it kind of hit me just that like I became willing and open. And I think the stigma got them where they were just like, even my brother, just like he said one time to my parents, like, I'm a man, I can't like say that I'm struggling mentally.
It's
But
awful. It's awful that people feel that way. And I'm so grateful that we are having these conversations more and more. And there's more in the sober community having these conversations and, just leading the way because you stay sick. If you don't share your story, if you don't ask for help, if you isolate, you're going to stay sick. And no one thing that gets you sober, but it is so vital that you have community and have somebody that helps you through it. So let's talk about your TikTok platform. And my God, you've blown up. So that's so fantastic. So that just says you're reaching people. How amazing is that?
yeah, I mean, it started with I'll never forget like crying when I started it. It used to be called Get Lifted back then. And it was like, I was just saying maybe I could help one person. That's all I focused on. I was just like, maybe one
Mhm.
person will go to rehab and not die, or go to AA and not die, or get a therapist, like something. And
Yeah,
yeah, here we are. So it's amazing. I
amazing.
mean, God will do amazing things. It was scary at first. I didn't know what I was
Yeah,
doing. I would just put a picture of me cracked out with no shirt on, and then a picture of me flexing with the shirt to grab people's
yeah,
attention, and I would just write a story like, I'm an alcoholic. It's okay if you are. Ask for help. And I remember being like, you have that scared to shit fear, like, "Yo, am I gonna people gonna think I'm crazy? Like, no one this ain't gonna help anyone." And then part of me, like, I believe you listening, like, God's in your heart, and I was like, "It's so on my
yeah.
heart to do it." And the first one, I think 20 people reached out for help. Teachers, people I
Wow,
played basketball
really?
with, yeah, like,
Ah,
people exes that hated me, like, all these people from my town, and found my way to TikTok,
amazing.
and that's really brought it to another scale. I mean, I think it's
Mm,
something around,
that's
like,
amazing.
60 million on Recovery Jon and, like, 40 million on Addicts Truth just on TikTok alone.
That's so fantastic. So tell us about The Addict's Truth. That's your podcast.
Yep.
And yeah, so look for me, guys, out there on The Addict's Truth. What do you
Yep.
hope most to get by sharing the podcast?
The same. My favorite quote, I'm not gonna remember her name now, but it's in Coach Carter, the movie. Basically, the end of it, it talks about, shine your light so you can liberate others to feel comfortable to do so. So it's cool
Mhm.
now that there's TikTok influencer, like newer influencers and sobriety and stuff, that will straight up say or have told me, like they got sober through doing other things, but they'll say, like, I got sober watching your TikTok years ago, and now there's a guy named Sober Jeff, and and it's crazy that that's what that quote is saying. By you and me doing this, other people will feel
Yeah,
comfortable to do it, and it becomes like a domino effect. So one is
100%.
to do that, is to kill the stigma, and two, it's just people put me on platforms. So I mean, you already have a platform, but now my people, maybe someone that kind of relates to me will really relate to you, and it's giving other people that story because. I mean, to be honest, I got tired of talking about my story for a little bit. I did so much for 2 years.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think I realized, like, there's different stories people connect to. So let me give other people a platform. So it's so cool.
100%. It's so
Yeah.
true. So what do
Yeah.
you say to someone out there right now that's struggling, maybe think they can't do this, that it's not possible for them to change?
I always say attack your mind with honesty and ask for help. If you think about how crazy it is, even myself, for 10 years, I wouldn't ask for help. And it was evident, you know what I mean? Evident that I needed help. If you needed help lifting a couch and you couldn't lift it, you would just say, "It's too heavy. Can you ask me?" So it's tricking
Yeah,
your mind to be like, it's that simple. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I need help. Let me just ask for it. And long
love
ways
that.
to go, but I think the world's getting a lot better with the stigma and stuff like that.
One day at a time. One day at a
That's it.
time.
Yep. That's all we can
So
do.
let's talk about daily practices and mindsets. What has worked for you most, and what could somebody maybe start to incorporate in their lives?
So that's how everything started. The Life on Life's Terms details that in my book on Amazon. But before it was Recovery John, it was called Get Lifted. My parents came up with the name because I was working out. And it was get lifted mentally, spiritually, physically. And it's kind of a pun because it was actually the sweatshirt I wore on the pre-show we were talking about. It's arms bench pressing in the clouds, so it's kind of like getting high, but it's supposed to be like spiritual as well. that's it for me. I did all this because I realized beyond sobriety, I mean, my parents, friends that aren't addicts have gotten so much from my story that it's beyond addiction. It's taking care of yourself. So I pray every day. I try to meditate like 4 times a week. That's the one I
Yeah.
struggle with the most. I don't know why. It
Yeah.
gives me the best
Me
feeling of
too.
prayer. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've been last year I did really good. This year I'm trying to be really good again.
Mhm.
Fitness is huge. I'm a personal certified trainer. I've probably worked out 97% of days since I've been sober. Giving back and service to others. Those like 4 things have kept me alive for sure.
100%. Giving of yourself, being of service is a huge part of this. What advice would you give to someone that's supporting a loved one going through this?
Just
Maybe an
love.
active addiction. Yeah, what can they do?
Yeah, mainly love.
Mhm.
Because there is a point where you can't do much. Like if they say they're an active addiction, that person does have to want it. That's a number one. I will always tell. I'll never steer away from. But like once my parents made me feel more comfortable because I was destroying their life. So for a while, they even say like they wouldn't talk to me. They would talk to me. They'd be a little hard on me. Like they just didn't know who knows what to do in that situation. Once my
Yeah.
brother too became like kind of loving like that, because they were always all loving, but once they were like the door was open where I felt comfortable and safe to say I'm struggling, it made me so much quicker to ask for help. Other than like I'm gonna be in
Mhm.
trouble or people be mad at me. But that's something I don't know if we'll ever figure out an addiction in this world because that addict is putting so much pain emotionally onto those loved ones. How do you? I dealt with it then. My brother and my friends now. It's hard. I don't try to help a lot of people close to me because there's too
Yeah.
much emotion, you know? So I would say
Yeah,
get
that's
outside
hard.
help as fast as you can.
Get outside help, right? I mean, that's so
Yeah.
important. So what's next for you personally and professionally?
Only God knows. I really want to settle down
True.
and just want to like, get married, have kids, like start a family. I've really put my last 3 years of my life into this and everything I had. So that's kind of taken away that part of it. I feel we're getting close there. Other than that,
Right.
I mean, working on a book too. One of my main goals is to open my own treatment center that, can
Oh,
help
wow.
people because I've been to good ones, I've been to really bad ones. So
Yeah.
kind of what I believe I works that like get lifted mentality and just keep helping
Amazing.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I'd never be able to live without alcohol in my life. Here I am almost 10 years sober. And the thing that brings me most joy, and it sounds like you the same, is helping other people. So imagine that you're so selfish in your addiction, and then what helps you most in recovery is helping other people. So it's really beautiful. And spirituality and God is a huge one. So, John,
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for your strength and your honesty and your voice and coming here on Wake Up and helping others to feel seen and heard and understood. And for all of you out there listening, I want to thank you so much for being here or watching. And please check out John's podcast, The Addict's Truth. Follow him on social, recovery_John, and grab his new book. When's it coming out?
It's out now on Amazon.
It's out at tell us the name again.
Life on Life's Terms.
Life on Life's Terms. Love it, love it. So just want to let you guys know that you are not your past. Your past does not define you. You're not your addiction. And you are so worthy. You are worthy of this gift of healing. Even if you're not in active addiction or in recovery, you are worthy of healing. You are worthy of a beautiful life and letting go of your past. And today is a perfect day to begin. So thank you all again. And I'll see you guys next Thursday and look for everything in the show notes. See you soon.